or making sure got all of the benefits, got all of the jobs, and we would be able to do all of the jobs that we needed to do because, like I said, we would be everything would be there for us to just take up and do. We would be able to set the we'd be able to set different things in like getting rid of the global warming. That's not going to happen overnight. You'd have to That would take a lot of time because you can't expect everything to just reverse after 100 years of pollution. Over 100 years worth of pollution, that you can't expect things to just and just stop and go into reverse. We don't have anything like that. It would gradually uh, return, but it wouldn't do that as long as we keep cutting down forests. So we would have to stop progressing in that way. We wouldn't be able to be cutting down forests anymore, and you won't be able to just get rid of people's food either, because you get rid of people's food, what, just to plant more foods to supplement the meat that's not in the diet? Because that's what you would have to do. You would have to plant more food, and that means cutting down more trees. This is ridiculous. We can't go that way. It's the people who's the problem. It's not pollution. It's not big business. It's the people. It's the amount of people that it takes to supply them with the products, with this and that, and that creates the pollution from industry. So these are the things we would need to think about. Get rid of money, and then we could start working on our own, handling the things that we need to do. We would be able to put forth our own things. Say we From the time we left school, we'd be able to streamline schooling, because schooling is a big, it's packed with a whole bunch of indoctrination tactics in order to weed people out, and you wouldn't need that anymore. So you would be able to learn whatever you wanted to learn. Matter of fact, schooling would be just for basic learning, as far as getting you to adulthood. You would go through basic school like you do now, and then once you get into high school, you would basically do math up to a certain level, maybe algebra or whatever, because past that, you don't really need it unless you're going into a specific field. Then you would start taking those higher level trigonometry and above, so that you can progress to more substantial learning. But until then, maybe you would go into to regular work, and you would start off slow, low. If you're just getting out of high school, you're going to be the one, because just like now, you're going to need people to do those menial jobs. So everybody will have that time. And being that you right out of school, you would take that spot. And then a few years down the line, you would be able to move up to higher or positions or better job qualifications, stuff that it takes a little bit more skill. And then all of that would be basically, what do you call that? Where they just teach you on the job. You'd be able to go in, and they show you what to do. It's like they train you on the job. Yeah, I'm blanking on it, and I just was thinking of it earlier. But that's what you would do. You go in, and they basically train you on the job, because you would be able to do that. There would be less, you'd be able to automate so much more things, right? You don't have money, so you'd be able to take your time, automate most of the things that you bring back, clothes, things that's assembly line types of things. But you can have people there for quality control, make sure that everything comes out the best that we need to, so that, because we wanted to sell the best products. We were once known for being selling the best products, American made, American built. That meant something in the world. Now it doesn't mean anything. But if we got rid of money, and it just depended on us to do the work, and we everything, see, there would be people that would say, well, you can't do that because what about the debt that we have? Well, as far as the debt that we owe ourselves, we can just stop worrying about that. We can just cut that all together, not even worrying about that. But any other foreign countries we owe debt to, we keep that. And like I said, once we start working for ourselves, bring back all of the industries that we sent overseas, that's not that we can now do for ourselves and bring back all these jobs, then we'd be able to do everything. We'd be able to put more reusable techniques like windmills and water and all of these things to get rid of fossil fuels. And once you get rid of the fossil fuels and clean things up, as far as we can't be dependent a whole lot on electricity too, because imagine putting these cars with these huge batteries in them and you sitting on top of this huge battery. Now, if you just listen to, I remember them talking about just the cell phone battery is dangerous to keep next in your front pocket because it can cause your testicles damage. You can literally cause yourself damage from keeping your cell phone in your front pocket because the radiation from those batteries can cause you damage in your testicular area. So why would you want to do that? So now they're making 2-ton batteries to put into cars, and you're going to be on highways with a bunch of cars with 2-ton batteries in them that's driving side by side in these big electromagnetic fields that you're going to be stuck in for hours driving back and forth to work. And this is going to be creating more problems. That's why I say we need to start bringing things closer to home, working in a different manner. Like we'll bring industries into the neighborhoods and have them like in walking distance. And each neighborhood would have a different type of industry. And that way that you can keep the jobs close, and that way we won't have to worry about traveling distances and putting so much worry about travel and cars and all of these pollutions and stuff. And then we'd have to change our way of dealing with each other as people, because it's people that are the problem. It's not industry, global warming, all of that. It has to do with people. Too many people on the planet. So we would have to change our whole idea. And this way we would lose weight. There wouldn't be a lot of overweight people because we'd be more physically active throughout the day, walking uh, more physically active as far as dealing with our own food supplies. We won't have to depend on other people shipping food to us and worry about freezers as much, even though we still have to use, why not use it? But we would have to find other ways of implementing, uh, getting, like I was thinking of, like you have, instead of having, you have a giant gyroscope wheel in the basement of your house, and once those things start going, and when you work out in the morning, that your family will have to work out. Right? So you go into your workout room and everything is connected to this giant gyroscope wheel, and it's like in the wall somewhere in your basement, and it just spins. It's huge, 10 feet wide, 20 feet in diameter, and it would just spin. As long as you exercise, it was spinning. It was connected to a generator that connects to a battery or some containment unit that pumps electricity or creates electricity. We used to ride on bicycles, and there's a little generator, and it had a gear or like an arm that stuck out, and it touched the front tire. And so when you was riding at night, you had a little light on the front of your bike, and it didn't take batteries. All you had to do was press that little arm to the front tire of your bicycle, and it would generate a light so you could see where you was riding your bike at night. This was way back in the 60s. So this is what I'm trying to think. This is the ideas where I'm thinking, instead of all day this thing is going and going, and it's pumping electricity and filling a battery that holds the charge for hours. And this is what your, home. We would use other things like wind and solar panels and all of that, but we also, every time you exercise, every time you lift it would be like connected. You'd have like a universal in your house with pulleys and ropes and whatever, and cables or whatever, and you would be pulling it. Every time you pulled it, it would pull on this gyroscope, and it would get it going, get this giant wheel going, and it would fill up this coil or whatever, this battery. And there's a whole lot of different ways. I watched Josie Wales, and they talk about, was it Josie Wales? No, it was Pale Rider. And Chris Penn was in there. Christopher Penn, Sean Penn's brother, he was in that, and he was a young dude before he gained all the weight. And he was in there, and he was describing how they hydro mine, how they get water that's going downhill at a steep slope, and it goes into a big pipe, and then as it goes downhill, picking up speed, they let it go into a thinner pipe, and then it goes into another thinner pipe, and it keeps getting thinner and thinner and thinner. But by the time it gets to the hose where they're shooting out the water, so much pressure and so much speed is built up in that water pipe as it got thinner and narrower, that is so much pressure that they could basically put so much water pressure against the side of the mountain and basically do all of their mining using this water pressure. And so this is what you could do to pump generators. If you got like New York City or any place where water, you can have, or you can create canals coming down mountains and pick up this water going into hydro, these pipes that lead into hydro generators or whatever, and this high pressure water would go through this generator, pushing the wheels, pushing the generators, creating electricity. So there's all kinds of ways. If you really put your mind to it, we can create electricity without using coal and all of these things, and we would be able to step back just a little bit. You don't have to do it all at one time, but there's no way we're going to be able to save the planet by just cutting back on meat and all of these things. This is ridiculous. It's a stupid way of thinking of things, because that's not how people operate. Yeah, so this new world order, you get rid of money, and you don't have to worry about taking orders. You know what you got to do. If you don't want to work, then you don't get the benefits of the pleasurable things of life. You're not owed the comforts of life. You're not owed that. So if you don't want to work, you can eat, you can have a roof over your head, but that don't mean you get the fancy clothes. That don't mean you get the PlayStations. That don't mean you get to watch all the special movies and all of the good stuff that everybody else gets. You don't get the great furniture. You get leftovers, what people don't want. You get hand-me-downs. That's the types of stuff you're going to get, because nobody owes you anything. And as far as immigration, there won't be, as far as I'm concerned. Why should somebody just come in and reap the benefits of what somebody else has put in generations? So if you're an immigrant coming in, you will never become an American. Maybe your grandchildren or your great grandchildren or your great great grandchildren, after you put in some generational work or some, what do they call that, investment into the country, then maybe one of your grandchildren or great grandchildren can become citizens and reap the benefits. But until then, you would have to work if you want to come to this country, you would have to work under the capitalistic countries, under the money system, And that's only after all Americans get jobs. After all Americans are working and they get what we're due, then we can start worrying about other people and other countries and saving the world. But until then, we have to look out for Americans first. And without money, then all of those banking systems and all these financial systems will go away. We don't need them. All we need is a universal bank so that when we want to travel abroad, and so that everything we sell, everything we make, we get first pick, and then we sell the excess to other countries, right? At a discounted price, lower than any other country's going to be selling it because we don't use money, right? So we be able to sell it at a discounted price. So once we do that, we can give them a discounted price and then even give them another discount for letting us travel in their country as an allied trade agreement type thing, and also pay off whatever debt we owe to other allied countries. We'd be able to use that to pay off. But until then, we'd be able to travel, and if with most of our stuff automated, we won't even have to do as much work. We would have to probably work half the time, maybe 6 months out of the year, 3 months out of the year, 4 months out of the year. And then the rest of that time, if you want to become some engineer, doctor, lawyer. Well, we won't need lawyers, but a nurse. And imagine how many nurses you could have on your block. And when you get old, you have your neighbors right there. Everybody would be right there helping you. Doctors, you probably be able to have 6, 7 doctors on your block. You know what I mean? Engineers up the behind, and you'd be able to change jobs. You'd be able to make movies when you got to be about 30. You'd be able, any big industry, you would work your way up and no one could keep you out. Everybody would have the chance. As long as you wanted to try your hand at it, you would get the chance to. Because every other year, every third year, you'd be able to change jobs. You'd be able to change jobs and go back to school and learn any specific trade that you want to when you want to. And everything would be apprenticeship. That's the word I was looking for, apprenticeship. And only jobs that really, because how many jobs really require you to learn all of these technical things? And not many. You could really learn it on the job. You will see people that talk about, oh, what about big machinery? You can learn that stuff if you're not an idiot. And on the job training, take it, like I said, if you only working for yourself, and then you would have a card that documented, just like how you go online for everything, you could document your work hours. Just go online. You know where you're supposed to be. You know when you got to work. If your job requires you to go in a certain time of the day, in order for other people to get whatever they need, then you go in there that day. If it doesn't, then you can go in whenever you want. And as long as you document your hours on your phone or whatever, that's how you document your hours. And then you put in your time. You know that you have to work 3 months out of the year, 4 months out of the year, a certain amount of hours a day. That's how what you do it when you want to, and everybody else will be doing the same thing. You know that you're going to be required because everything will be on the internet. That's why I said we'll decentralize the internet. That's why nobody can just spy into our stuff and disrupt the way we do things. And we'd be able to set up our jobs, and the government would basically be non-existent. It would be mostly accountants and orchestrators who direct things and making sure everybody gets stuff. And then, well, not everybody, because it would work down to the state level and city level. It wouldn't be just the government. It would be like they would be oversight. But where you would need a president and a commander in chief would be with the military, because we would still need to organize a military. Everybody would have to get some kind of physical and training with guns and all of that. So everybody would have to do some kind of military time, but that doesn't mean you're going to have to you would have to basically go through boot camp. Everybody would have to go through boot camp. Once you graduate high school, you go right into boot camp, and you get some training with guns, physical fitness. You learn things, and then you could come back out, and you'll be able to get a weapon, because we have to stop all of this. People have to be able to. I know that most likely we won't be waging war against each other, but we don't know what's going to happen. Just like with this virus, you see anything can happen. So, and I believe that the end of the world is possible with Yellowstone. All you have to do is look up Yellowstone. I'm going to be doing some more live streams. I'm not going to go right into it, but New World Order is going to continue probably every Friday, and we're going to keep going over this. Let's see what time this is. All right. Well, we still got plenty of time. So, um, yeah. So, New World Order, we get rid of money, and we'll be able to set up our own jobs, and all the money we make, we won't have to worry about it. That would be like going into a governmental kitty, and everybody would get like a credit card, an ID card, or whatever. Well, both, but this credit card will basically be for when we travel, or when we get items. That way, other people like foreigners who are here won't be able to just come in and reap the benefits. you know, they would have to pay for everything. They just wouldn't be able to grab up anything and take it and do whatever with. So we'd be able to we'd be able to have food courts if we want to do it that way. That way, anybody be able to eat on the street, whether you working or just go stop in. We'd have neighborhood farms, or little vegetable growing patches, and almost on every block, something like that. And then we would have an area where we have our livestock somewhere just outside or just inside city limits, because we have to deal with the smell and then other things that come with animals and stuff. So, but they would have to come closer, and other farming, we would have to bring that closer. There's chicken and all kinds of things. We'd have to. We can't depend on things being shipped to us. And if we do it that way, yeah, I guess it could work. But it can still work, but we still would have to think of different ways of doing it. It won't be no subsidies. People would have to go out and work. Let's get out on these farms, and that way we'd be able to get rid of the pesticides and all of these things in our food, because there's so many things that's contributing. Do y'all hear the things about our sperm? Man's sperm is going down and down and down every year, because our sperm count is going down, because there's so many chemicals that we deal with in our food every day. With everything, there's something called forever chemicals. We're not going to talk about that today. I think I talked about it on one of my streams or before. I'm going to do some videos. I'm going to start clipping some of these live streams that I'm doing. uh, let's move on to another. But we will have to deal with a lot of things would change. The law would be a big thing. So let's hit this new thing here, and see what we're gonna do here. All right. The law. We won't need the law no more. Not way to the extent that that we have the law now. After all, what does the law do anyway? For the most part, they don't really need to engage the public. There's so much police brutality and all these things that you hear going on all the time, and there's we don't get anybody to stop doing what they do. It just keeps going on. So, did I do that? Yeah, this is wrong. Here we go. This is the world. Oh, okay. I was supposed to play this earlier, but we'll play that later. Let's see. This is all right. Let me check this. Oh, here we go. Now this is fair use. This is on the news. So here it says right there on the news, and homeboys just reporting, and we just going to EFAP this right quick.
Tonight, we hear from the man at the center of an excessive force complaint that led to a Lafayette police officer being fired. That surveillance video you're looking at now was taken inside the Lafayette Parish Jail.
Now, we don't, there's no need for all of this. There's no need for the police to be engaging the public to the degree that which they do all the time.
These are SWAT teams preparing to execute forced entry search warrant raids. This type of raid led to the death of at least 81 civilians and 13.
Why? Why do you need to kill that many people on either side? Hey, if you're going to do it, you know, y'all want to kill people, just kill them. But because, like I said, it's the population that's too much. So we're going to have to get rid of. They should have just let the virus do what it was doing. If you ask me, it was more of a fair thing. People who are overweight mostly are the ones who are suffering, because even elderly people were surviving. I heard there was like a 90 or 100-year-old woman who survived the illy ill. So if you're going to kill people, just kill people. Let the virus do what at least is fair. You can't say that people are pointing the finger at a specific race, creed, or who, you know, because if you're a particular race and your race is more overweight, and I'm black, and I know that there's a lot more overweight and black folks out there today, and they was suffering a lot. That's what they were saying. There's a lot of black people were dying because of their weight issues and their health issues because of weight. So if that's the case, well, then you need to get your ass in shape. I'm serious. You need to get your ass in shape. You need to stop that. That's what this whole thing is about.
Officers from 2010 to 2016.
And the majority is that is to go in for people doing drugs or selling drugs. Listen, people do not do this. They do not run to your door, kick in your door, and say, "You buying my drugs or else." People go out into the street and search it out. Why are we arresting people for doing things they want to do? I thought this was a free society. Let people do what they want to do. If they want to kill themselves, let them kill themselves. It's their life. That's what freedom means. Let's stop with all of this bullshit. We keep making laws restricting our freedom. How can you do that? Let's stop all of this crap. People don't need laws. All we need to do is to enjoy our lives. Listen, animals have the most freedom. They do what they want. They kill what they want. They get into a fight and somebody, they might not be trying to kill you, and they might be, but there's no guarantee that you're gonna die, right? They fight, and then you could crawl off and you could die later from your wounds. If it does, it does. That's just what happens. So I say, let people go at it. You got a disagreement, put it up. You could televise it, do whatever you want, as long as it's fair. You got a disagreement with somebody, whether it's male, female, I don't care. Let them handle it. If it's a female or male, then either she could get a stand-in, and you could either handle it. No serious weapons, no firearms. But as far as fist to fist and knife to knife or gun or bat or stick to stick, something like that, something not too egregious. No bats, but like a little baton type of stick to that type of level. And y'all want to beat each other crazy to death? Go ahead. Why not? We don't need as many people on there. And then once it's over, it's over. If the family wants to come and reciprocate, and then let it be a one-on-one. One-on-one. Y'all want to go family for family war, then let it happen and be it over with. we don't listen. If you hundreds of thousands of people died in wars, in past wars, back in the more uncivilized times, people died like crazy because they had to have a sword in hand, and you had to look a dude in the eye and chop him up or stab him right there, right in front of you. It wasn't, you knew what death was because you was making it happen. It wasn't, oh, let's let this soldier go over there and do it. No, you had to be responsible for it. If you want to wage wars or you want the freedoms that you want, because the freedoms are taking other people's shit in order to survive if that's necessary. And I'm not saying that we need to do that because there's plenty of resources. This is what this video is talking about. But I'm gonna come back to that later because I don't want to mess up what I'm talking about. But we don't need cops. We don't need cops engaging the public. Where's the other one? Oh man, I lost it. Man. Yeah, I lost it. I had one with the police engaging traffic stops, and yeah. No, that's not it. Yeah. I must have switched it over. Hold on.
November 28th.
The man in handcuffs was arrested on domestic abuse and resisting.
Oh no, that's the one I just seen show. But yeah, yeah, this is another one. So they're different topic. But if we're gonna have police, we need to cut down their engagement with the public. We don't need people, police pulling over people for traffic stops, because what do you need to? If you're driving without a license, they can handle that. They get your license plate. You go home, you're gonna get something in the mail stating that you. Why do you have to arrest people and do all that? You get somebody that comes to your house and takes their plates. You know, that's just it. You don't need to engage the people and do all of that. Why are we ruining people's lives over stuff? The average person who drives without a license doesn't crash all of the time. So the only people you need to really worry about is drunk drivers. And how many times do they kill people driving? I'm not saying that it doesn't happen. I'm just saying, how many people who drink make it home safely? You still, okay, if you see a car swerving and you can pull them over safely, yeah, pull them over and get them out of there. All right. But if they're not, there's no reason for putting up traffic stops to see if people are to check their licenses and check on this and check on that. There's no reason for that type of traffic stop. So you cut back so many of these things for what people want to do. Another thing, there was the guy got shot. This kid, this is the one that I was looking for. Well, it's not. This is not the one that I was looking for. Let me see. Police brutality. Home. I should have. That's what I did. I went the wrong direction. Let's see. Let me just turn this back
and judge for themselves.
Here
California police paying $1.5.
The officer then opening stop. A driver pulled. What started out as a routine traffic stop, a driver pulled over for allegedly not wearing a seatbelt. The officer then opened.
For a dude not wearing his seatbelt. Why are you pulling over a dude for not wearing his seatbelt? It doesn't make any sense. It's his life. If he got other people in the car, then he can't be responsible for other people. So the other people in the car, yeah, they should have their seatbelts on. But if it's a single person driving the car, operating the car, why does he need to have his seatbelt on? It's his life. He wants to jeopardize his life. That's his business. The cops you don't need the cops in this man's business. And look at what happens.
Opening fire soon after. The driver does survive this, and you're about to see and hear.
But he gets shot. He gets shot because he didn't have on his license, and this cop was some trigger-happy idiot that couldn't see a black man reach back into his car for his license after he asked him for his license.
All ABC's Lindsay Davis now on what happened next.
Startling dashcam video of the moments after a trooper pulls a man over for an alleged seatbelt violation.
Can I see your license, please? Get out of the car! Get out of the car!
Look at stop bucking him! Stop bucking him! He ain't even turned around. He said, get out the car, started bucking him. Yo, he told him to get out the car, right? And then when he started to move, he started bucking him. How you gonna shoot him when you told him to get out the car? First he asked for his license. He went back in the car to get his license. He says, get out the car. Then start shooting him when he gets out the car. How you gonna do that? This is what I'm talking about. There's no need for him to engage this man just because he didn't have his fucking seatbelt on. It's his life. It's his life. What right does the city have to tell you, don't risk your life, wear your seatbelt? Come on, man. We need to get rid of this. We need to get the government out of our personal business. Just like they're making laws that you can't date a woman and lie to her, otherwise you will have sex with her. That alleviates consent. If you lie to her and say you make more money than you do, you work at a different job or something like that, and she gives you the drawers, and she finds out later that you didn't work where you, they could charge you for a nasty assault. And I can't say because they got the algorithm, but they could charge you for a nasty assault because the consent wasn't there, because you lied. So because she found out that you lied, they can now bring you up on charges for assaulting her nastily because there was no consent. After she gave consent and you dropped the ding-a-ling in her, then all of a sudden she can renege the consent because you lied after the fact, and they can bring charges up against you. How is that anything possibly cohesively viable for a society of men and women who get, come on, we have to get the government out of our personal business. You can't have these, this is what causes it. You got the cops engaging the public for no damn reason. They should not be engaging the public. You need cops for one thing. If there's somebody out in the street bucking shots at everybody, that's the only time you need them. You don't need them if they're robbing a bank. You don't. You don't. You see that shootout back in the LA after the Heat, the movie, where after that big shootout scene, and then the dude was walking the street after they robbed the bank. If the cops didn't showed up, they would have grabbed their money and left. But because the corporations got to pay for that through insurance, the police have to go there and risk. You watch Heat. And when they start shooting at them people, when they start shooting at the criminals, when they start shooting at Robert De Niro and them, all of the people in the background, you should see all the people in the background. I'm going to show it. The heck with it. I'm going to show it. I'm going to show it. Where is it? We're gonna stop sharing. Let's stop sharing. Now I'm going to look it up. I know I have it on. I know I have it on history or my library. Save for later. I know I got it saved for later. Come on, man. Come on, man. It's not that far back. I didn't save that. Okay. Heat bank job. Heat bank job. There it goes. All right, it's just 10 minutes long. I was saving this for another. I was going to do a review on this for this purpose, but I was going to do this a whole video. Matter of fact, I should save this. But no, I'm going to show y'all just so that y'all can see. Let me skip on ahead. Skip on. Okay. Now we're going to show after the heist, because I want to go through this because I'm going to do a video about how they messed up they misedited the movie. This is the only part in the movie, two parts in the movie, at the end and this, where they just edited wrong. Otherwise, I don't have, this is my favorite movie. I love it. One of my favorite movies. So let me show this. I'm only going to show very short clips so that they don't say that now you're going to see. Now watch these motherfuckers. Now, if the cops never showed up, the criminals don't have no reasons to shoot at the cops, jeopardizing the public's lives behind the cops, because you'll see everybody's lives in danger. Everybody in the club getting, I'm telling you, they risk everybody's life. So I don't really need the volume, but we're gonna show it anyway. Fuck it. Everybody in the club getting twisted. Okay, let's get the sound up. I hope you could hear. Now, let me see. Yeah, this is the spot, because this is just where Dennis Haysbert, Dennis Haysbert, something like that. Dennis Haysbert, the black dude driving. This is where he gets popped, and they're shooting up the block at him. Look at all of the people. Look at all of the people. Looking out the window. Look at all these people. Look at all of the people ducking. Now the cops are shooting at this car. Their cops are up the block shooting at this car. Now you can't tell me that they're not jeopardizing everybody, because you can't. They're using shotguns and semi-automatic weapons. They don't know what they're gonna hit. They don't know what they're gonna hit because the car's moving. Look at him. See? That's bull. Okay. He's got perfect aim. One shot, and he hits a moving target, moving at least 30, 40, 50 miles an hour up the block. But okay, they keep shooting. All of these people. Look at all of these people. And what's his name? Val Kilmer and what's his name? Sizemore. Tom Sizemore's in the back of the car shooting back at the cops. So everybody behind the cops are in jeopardy. Now, if the cops wasn't there, they would just drove off with the money. So every time the cop engages criminals, they put everybody's lives in jeopardy, including that LA bank job. They do that all the time when the cops engage criminals. And the only time that you need cops is when there's like school thing going on, when somebody's an active shooter. That's the only time. But otherwise, you don't need cops engaging criminals. You don't need them doing that. You don't need them engaging bank robbers, because most of the time they just want the money. Let them take the money and go. It's fake. You could just print some more. They do it all the time. But that's what I'm saying. We need to stop with this crap. We need to stop saying that we need police. We don't need them. We don't. It's just a fact of life. We don't need the police, not to the degree that we have them. You don't need them engaging people all the time with every little thing. If somebody calls them, yeah, But for them to be pulling people over and going into people's homes and doing all of these things, we don't need them. It's not necessary. There was no police force before slavery was abolished. There was no police force before 1869. So you telling me all of those hundreds of years we didn't need police, but after slaves are freed, now all of a sudden we need police, and now everybody believes that the world would be chaos without police. Why? Why is that? Because you've been brainwashed to believe in that. Because their job was and always has been to subjugate the darkies. That's period. And that's what they've done ever since their inception. That's what they've done. So we need to get off of this whole thing about let me get back off of that. We need to get off of this whole thing about the police. They're not necessary. We can pull them way back. Like I said, we still need them, but not for the purposes that we have them doing. People who do drugs, that's your families. Those are your peoples. It's cool to let. I've seen white folks in court who are on these opioids. They're getting off. They're not locking them up because all of a sudden they understand. But when it's white kids getting drugged out, but when it was black kids, it was, we got to get them. It's a war on drugs. So everything on both ends. If you was buying drugs, they didn't understand. If you was selling drugs, they didn't understand. But now that it's big pharma, oh yeah, well, we understand. We're getting our cut. Now there's white people, oh, we can't take them away from their families and we can't take their children away, and they need understanding. There's no big tanks driving through your walls. There's none of this. The court system is bending over backwards, patting them on the head. Yes, we understand your issues. Come on, man. So if that's how it is, then that's how it is. But let's get off of it. We don't need them. All right. So let's get back to it. What's next? Capitalism. This new world order. We won't need capitalism because capitalism is nothing but slavery. It is an organized slavery. Let's listen to this again. Capitalism is organized slavery. And I say this because one reason, and nobody can argue with me. I've listened to my boy Young Ripper talking about capitalism, and everybody talk about capitalism, this, that, and that. Capitalism is organized slavery. But you know why? Because it has to. It absolutely depends on having people poor enough to work the menial job. Look at Amazon. The one thing the Illy Ill did was open up a lot of jobs for Amazon. Why? Menial jobs. A lot of people lost their businesses. A lot of people lost their jobs. A lot of people, and now where they are, they talking about, you should listen to these people. Hold on, we have it right here. Let's share. And this is all, we're gonna have it all. This is all quality control and stuff, man. Let's get this. Listen to what we got here, baby. Is this it? No, that's the last one. We need to get rid of that. Okay. Listen to this. Now, this is on PBS. So this is public access. So you can't tell me that this is not fair use. All right.
It helped transform the work environment in Amazon's warehouses.
Willingness to experiment is the key to being able to do new things.
Yeah, these billion dollars. Let me tell you something. No, we get to that later on.
Amazon would hire hundreds of thousands of workers and become the largest private jobs creator in the country. At the fulfillment centers, Bezos experimented with new techniques and technologies to boost productivity.
Willingness to experiment is the key to being able to do new things.
Yeah, his willingness to experiment with the workers and all of these bull crap. He's full of crap. And none of these people, you see all of these people advertising to black folks and advertising to minorities and all these marginalized people. And these marginalized people are quick to jump on the dicks of all of these corporations. And none of these corporations give a good goddamn about you. And you get what you deserve.
So we do, hundreds of experiments every day in our fulfillment centers to get a little bit better, kind of like incremental invention.
Yeah.
2 CEOs under Jeff Bezos.
As we've added 200,000 robots in that same time frame since 2012, we've added 300,000 people.
300,000 people they added. Now, get a load of this.
Have persisted.
People who've worked in warehouses for decades say this is different. This is not the same. We're here today because we want to make sure that these workers know about their rights in the workplace, especially around heat.
Shahari Arkazji is an advocate for warehouse workers in the San Bernardino, California area, an Amazon hub with 10 fulfillment centers and over 15,000 employees.
15,000 employees.
Because of the way that Amazon operates, because of the way that they set their rates for productivity.
But they set the rates for productivity. They set the rates for productivity. How much you got to do every day. Their quota system.
It's a lot harder work physically, but also psychologically.
But they got all those robots. How is it more difficult working if they got all those robots?
We sat down with a group in San Bernardino who'd recently worked at Amazon.
When they first got here, I thought it was exciting. Like for me, I was thinking maybe I could find a place where, I'm going to set roots of a good job, move up in place. But after being there for a while, I was like, there's no way.
Good job, work, move up, packing boxes. I ain't never seen no move up, packing boxes. You want to move up, you better go get you another job. What you gonna be? The supervisor of packing boxes? Supervisor of packing boxes ain't much better than packing the box. Get the fuck out of here. Get the fuck out of here. That's that GTF. Get the fuck out of here, son. Man. Yeah, I'm going to work at packing boxes, and I'm looking forward to moving up in the world. Come on. Come on. This is what these fools is believing. Listen to them.
Just not realistic how they expect you to work there for a certain amount of time. Is just like it's like, okay, this is where I could probably make a career. But
I can make a career packing boxes.
Once you work there for a certain amount of time, it's just like it's just not.
I ain't never worked in no Amazon. I'm my late 50s, so I've never worked in no Amazon. But I know that if you worked in any factory packing boxes, I pack boxes. I used to assemble chandeliers and then disassemble them and put them into the boxes, put the packing, tape up the box, and guess how long I lasted? I did all of it. The boss loved me. All of my bosses, I worked my ass off. I used to pack boxes, put them on the dollies, take them down to the truck, load the trucks. That's how much work I used to do. The boss used to take me on special trips with him, so that and I'd get to leave early. I'd go down to the World Trade Center with him, and he would have me do a few things, and then he'd say, "Go home." because I used to work side by side, shoulder to shoulder with this dude. Because when he wanted to not stack the dollies and send them down, he would go into the office and he'd leave me there, and he knew that I would get the job done. I had my weightlifting belt on around my waist, and I would the dudes who was packing the boxes, and you know, dudes who was there for years was still packing boxes. Still packing boxes. It was a beauty supply place. And then this is another place. One was a chandelier place, and another one was a beauty supplies place. Packing boxes and doing the same thing. There's no moving up. You talk about a career. These dudes are talking about, I thought I could get a career at Amazon from the pack. It's not the mailroom, son. It's not the corporate job. It's not the mailroom at a corporate job where you can hope to move up or get the good word in because you had a good idea. Nobody wants to hear your packing boxes ideas. Get the fuck out of here. Yeah. But yo, this is what they do. This is what they do. Here you go.
Workers, frankly,
this is fair use, son.
Plenty of reasons to fight to unionize.
Many complain about grueling work, unsafe conditions, with inadequate bathroom and meal breaks.
They treat you more like a product or a statistic than an actual human being. For example, I'm a diabetic and I don't have time to stop to check my blood sugar. They have just constant quotas. And if you can't get done what...
Now, how is it that slavery? How is it this is slavery? How is it this capitalistic system that has to guarantee that there's enough people at her level that needs to work and know that that's it for them? They're going to have to work at McDonald's, at some kind of cashier, supermarket. They have to guarantee that. That's why the school system fails. That's why everything. It's all part of it. Now, I'm not talking about no conspiracy. This is not a conspiracy. But everybody, you can watch, look at the data. They tell you that when failing school systems, what's going to come from it? This comes next. This comes next. And just like with all of this woke bull crap. The reason why this woke crap comes up is because they think that they could get away with it. They think that the public is so stupid. You can even listen to how they talk to you. I'm going to do another one. I'm not going to jump into that right now because I'm going to do another one. How they talk to you in the public and on commercials these days. They call you stupid when they said, don't listen to the doctor, stupid, with this ill thing. There was a commercial on Cartoon Network that said, oh, don't listen to your cousins, stupid, listen to the doctors. They literally said stupid. And I'm going to play that video too. On the next New World Order, you're gonna see what I'm talking about. They play this, and there was another commercial I saw where they actually say, call you names. They're calling you names. This is what they think of you. There's no respect for you. They call your house. They call you by your first name. Oh, I got to do these videos, but this is how they treat you. Capitalism is slavery. You don't want to believe it? It's slavery. Just because it's organized and you willingly go into it, that doesn't mean that it's not slavery. It's a force. You're forced into it. You are forced into it. You think that they had to shut down the government over this? Over 99%, everybody's already proven 99% survivable. It's never happened before. People are making billions of dollars. The pharmaceutical companies making billions of dollars off of the virus, off of the so-called the poke, the jab. They're making billions off of it. Of course, they want you to get it. I don't care about the jab one way or the other. They say they label me as an anti-vaxxer Why am I an anti? It's just like it's the same technique that the woke are using. Why is the government using the same technique as SJWs? This is another video. They try to shame you into it. Oh, you're anti-vaxxer. You're misogynist. You're a misogynist. So you're an anti-vaxxer. I don't give a fuck enough about a vaccine to be an anti-vaxxer, one way or another. I don't see people dropping dead in the streets. I don't see zombies. I don't see people running around biting people and turning people into shit. So until people start foaming at the mouth and dropping at my feet, I'm not worrying about y'all. I don't care about your vaccine. My body, I've been out in the street several times without a mask. The only times I've ever wore a mask is when I was going into an establishment and on the bus. Otherwise, I would have never wore a mask. And I never felt better. I never felt sick, not once. I believe because of the weed I smoked, that my blood, and because of my whole life, I've never taken medicines. My mother was into taking, my brother was into taking medicines. I always use salt water in my nose when I got a cold, and Listerine to gargle my throat, Vicks Vapor Rub on my chest, or hot tea and lemon, hot tea and brandy, and then I get under the covers and sweat it out. That's what I've always done my whole life. I take Epsom salts once or twice a year to clean my system out. Nastiest laxative you could want to take, but it works. I've been taking it all my life. It's the nastiest thing I ever want to take, but I'd rather take that than X-Lax and all of that other stuff. I'd rather take that because I know it works. I know it does what I want it to do, what I want it to do, not what the companies say that it's supposed to do. My parents, I grew up taking aloes and to clean my blood. Taking Epsom salts to clean my bowels. I use that's the only thing I've taken, period, for as far as health is concerned. You think now that I want to let somebody poke me with anything? If I don't have to, only time I needed to get poked is when my knee exploded on me and I had to get an operation. Otherwise, I'm not letting nobody stick me with anything. And I ain't got nothing to do with a vaccination. That's just how I get down. My body can take care of it. And if it can't, then I should die. That's how it works. That's what the world is. That's the reality of the world. And I live in reality. It has nothing to do with your vaccine. Or I'm trying to cause other people. Fuck with other people. Since when did I was responsible for other people? Nobody's responsible for me. My neighbor helps me out from time to time, so big ups to my neighbor. But yo, that's how it's supposed to be. If we was looking out for each other like that, we wouldn't have to worry about these things. Back in the day, that's another video. It took a village to raise a child, and our children were stronger and better for it. Now we got all these moist boys, moist ass individuals, moist ass women crying for more, moist ass men crying for the women that want to put their foot on their necks. All right, so okay, we got done that. So okay, the next thing. The rich do not make jobs. The New World Order. The rich do not make jobs. They don't. Their jobs are already there for us. We just have to go take the jobs and do them. If we was allowed to just do work, America would be in a better place. That's why I said if we got rid of money, we could just do work. We could have, as long as we can build the factory, we can just do the work. We can build whatever we want to build. We can make whatever we want to make and sell it to the rest of the world. There's plenty enough money in the rest of the world. We don't have to sell it to ourselves. We can just supply what we need to each other. Look how strong we would be as a nation. We would be able to supply our own everything. We won't have to depend on any other country for anything. We'd be able to pay off whatever debts that we owe, and we wouldn't need to worry about it because everything we sold, we'd be undercutting the world. So everybody would want to buy it because it'd be cheaper. Until they try to get on the same thing. And then all of these people who are running away from their countries, running over here, they can keep their ass over there and use what we do to fix their own country instead of coming over here and basically blowing out our economy. Because you can't handle the people. It's the people that's the problem. You can't keep doing what we're doing. It's the people. If we wouldn't have to supply so many people, we wouldn't have to cut down so many trees. We wouldn't have to have so many factories. We would put spewing out chemicals in there. If we got rid of money, we wouldn't have to worry about plastic because we could go back to glass because we wouldn't have to save money. Because a lot of these shortcuts is to save money for corporations. Look at what happened. Plastic bags were for corporations to save money. They charged us extra to get plastic bags when plastic bags was introduced. Now that they want us to go back, they want to charge us for paper bags. Ain't that some bitch? They want to charge us again to go back to the old way. This is what they do. And we pay more. While the food prices keep going through the roof. We make the jobs because it's us that do the jobs. Rich people can't do anything without us to do the work. They should get credit for inventing or creating whatever they create, but making the jobs, no, they don't deserve to get all of the money for it because it's us that make them rich. If it wasn't for us making the product, if it wasn't for us distributing the product, if it wasn't for us delivering the product, selling the product at the stores, it's us who make their businesses what it is. So they should not reap all of the benefits. We put in all the hard work. Who makes the toys? Not the dude who comes up with it. No, it's the man on the actual dude who's putting his hands on it, who's running the machines or doing whatever they do. It's him who's the most important. But that's not. We've been brainwashed to believe that no, the man on top is important. He's the one who creates jobs. No, the jobs are already there. The jobs are there. The manpower is there. The workers are here. And all we need to do is do the work. You don't need anybody can come up with ideas a dime or dozens. That's why do you think everybody you need to get lawyers? Why do you think you need to pay $10,000 to lawyers for patents? Why do you think that the government then charges you thousands of dollars for patent fees to keep you out? To keep you out. Is that a conspiracy? I don't know. I don't believe so, but they know that you can't afford that. You're busy living day to day, week to week, paycheck to paycheck. You can't afford $10,000 for a lawyer to then get charged more on top of that, to then get charged more. You know, I know. Why can't we? Because a patent agent or a patent lawyer, all he does is say, well, this is what your your product is, he writes it up in a specific way so that people can understand that. But that's back in the day, we needed that. Today, we don't need that. We've got cameras, we've got internet. We don't need the patent. We don't need a patent lawyer. We don't need a patent agent. See, all of this, this is another video. We don't need a patent lawyer. We don't need a patent agent. We don't need patent licensing. We have the internet. We have film. We can document anything you need to document ourselves. Cutting out. When do we get to cut out the middleman? Why does the government always have to have their hands in our pocket? Coming, going, no matter what. They always got their hands in our pocket. Why? I don't understand this. I don't understand this. The last thing I want to say to everybody, to get y'all to think and to think about the possibilities of life without money, is don't work for money, work for freedom. Because without all of these things, you look at what I just said, look at all of the freedom you gain. You get more time in your life. Everything is automated. You won't need to work as long. Everybody has to work. Everybody will get a job. Everybody will have a home no one can kick you out of. You never have to pay taxes. You never go hungry. All of those financial buildings, those big buildings will be empty, vacant for anybody who needs a home. We can make high-rise luxury apartments for people. Everybody will get to live in a suite. Your homes can be, you can work in architecture. That shit will be in abundance. I mean, construction, building homes. That would be in abundance. We would be able to, we can build cars. We can build whatever we want. Work for freedom, not money. All we have to do is do the job, and it will be up to us. It would be ours. We control it. We control it. We control how we set up the jobs on the internet. We control all of that. This is how we can take control. And it wouldn't be, you know how we do it? Work for months. This is what we tell the government. It wouldn't be no insurrection. No, we don't have to bomb any stores and blow up stores and raid buildings and all of this and none of that. Even though that wasn't an insurrection. I'm a black man and I was raised a Democrat. That was not an insurrection. That was a riot that got out of hand. Period. Come on, stop crucifying people. This is what I'm saying. The cancel culture exists in our government now. In our government and in our media and in our news, because they use these volatile, hostile words to describe people that they don't like so that they can demonize them. I don't really like Republican views, but that doesn't mean I'm going to demonize every person. And that's what they do. That was a riot that went out of control. And so we don't then say that they tried to take a, not one of those people had a weapon. Not one of those people, they had cameras and was posting this shit on, that's not an insurrection. That's assholes that got out of hand. Assholes that got out of hand. People being assholes and it got out of hand. That's all that was. Let's leave it at that. So it doesn't have to come to that. All you have to do to prove your point, let them put us back to work, right? Get rid of all these lockdowns, and we can see, and everybody just not work. You save up your money, and you buy freezers. You buy freezers so that you could have several months worth of food, and then you Everybody, except for people in vital businesses like food delivery, water, processing, and all of that, electricity, all of these vital types of things. Y'all keep doing your job, but everybody else stay home. And you just say, we won't work for money. We'll work for freedom. And if the government doesn't take the hint, they can't starve us. It's us who deliver the food. It's us. All we have to do is keep delivering the food, keep processing the food until they get the hint. You can't keep us from our food. It's us who's in the military. So who are they going to use against us to make us work? You know? When the corporations fail, then we say, yeah, fuck you, and we take them over. We'll produce and we'll deliver for ourselves, and we'll overproduce so that we can sell to the foreign countries, and we'll create our own banking system, a universal banking system just for us, so that everybody can get a black card, a universal black card for traveling. Otherwise, we'll be able to say, I'm sorry, rich people, you won't have to lose them now. You won't. You can keep your mansions, and yeah, but you can't pass them down. Your children can live in your other homes, but they can't pass them down. Once their children will then have to get a regular suite like the rest of us, and because they won't be rich no more, there won't be no more money, so they can live like everybody else. You know, that's just how it will be. That way, there's no bosses, nobody's jealous, nobody's trying to keep up with the Joneses. Everybody's just living, because that's what it's supposed to be, right? Living your best life. You'll be able to live your best life. You won't be poor. You'll be living well. You have all the luxuries as long as you work. And if my friend, I was talking to my boy, and he said, what would you do with me? Because he got injured, so he can't work. I said, there's be internet jobs. There'll be accounting jobs. You got to make accounting to make sure the food goes here. You still got to make sure things organized. You still got to keep organized. So there's still going to be all kinds of accounting types of jobs, making sure this is accounted for, that's accounted for. These things still need to be done. And there's going to be technical jobs that could be done. All of these things can still be done. We still will be able to do all the jobs that we still do. None of that will go away except for the financial shit. Anything that has to do with money. We won't have to worry about money. Diamonds will become the rocks that they are, and we can just use them for decorating and for cutting and whatever that make them vital. Gold can still be used for conducting electricity and stuff like that, but it's no longer, and for adornment, it's no longer precious because it's just a metal. That's all it is. We put value on our lives and our freedoms instead of monetary bullshit, fake shit that we made up. That's the Matrix doctrine. Yeah, we all tied together. The Matrix doctrine, power streams, power time. The Matrix doctrine is about power time. It's about looking at life. We're living in a fake world that we've made up. Our words are meant to express the emotions that we feel, but animals express themselves much clearer than humans because we diluted what our emotions are through words, and we able to use words to hide what we say and what we feel, and we now pay attention to what people say instead of what they feel. The majority of what people say is about their emotions. They talk about how they felt during the day, what made them pissed off, what made them happy, what made them feel laughter, what made them upset. It's the only times you worry about money and jobs and stuff like that. That's all frivolous stuff that we don't really care about as people. Not really, unless you're doing something that you love to do. And that's go back to emotions. So if you can express yourself just with emotions, you walking around, you don't need no dialogue. You would see people mostly happy or upset when they or threatening people when they piss them off. Just like how animals do. They engage each other through emotion. And people express themselves emotionally. It's just that we use words to convey the emotions, which the words are absolutely irrelevant because, like I said, they're all fake. Everything that I'm expressing to you now is an emotional thing about the things that we go through as humans. And I just don't see why we have to put ourselves through all of that when this is our world. This is our lives. Why is the government in charge? We don't need leaders. We just need people to watch over things that we do for ourselves. That's it. And that's us. We can do that. Because the government isn't the government, it's people. It's us. We put these people on pedestals when we shouldn't. We should put ourselves on pedestals and stop looking up to other people. Stop looking up to gods and idols, because people are just people. They wear their shoes just the same way you wear yours. I don't care how much they pay for it. If you get rid of money, then what's the value of their shoe as compared to yours? Then everybody can get the same types of shoes. What's the big deal? And then you know what else will happen? The whole idea of high value, sorry, Kevin Samuels, will go out the window. Because unless you could fucking keep your shit, because right now, a rich motherfucker would lose his shit if it wasn't for the police. He wouldn't have none. None of them old white, old fat white dudes could walk the street because they all get got. All of them would have to run their shit. Run that shit, motherfucker. And I wouldn't have to work hard for it, neither. You best not be carrying those stacks. You best not. Because I just have to, because they ain't gonna, maybe some of them might know how to fight, but it would be light work. It would be light work. And that's why then you would see who's the high value man, because high value is lions and tigers and bears. Oh my, that's high value. The predator is the high value. The one who can go out there and take it. And the businessman is not a predator. He's a predator in the made up world. In the matrix, he's a predator, because we give away all our power to the government, to the police, to the rich. We put them on the pedestal. That's our fault. Nobody can take your power from you. You give it away. Power is about strength, wisdom, will, and knowledge. Knowledge of yourself. You have all the power if you know who you are, all of your weaknesses, all of your strengths. Nobody can put you down if you know who you are. Because if they say something about you, you're like, I already know that. What you trying to say? And if you don't like that part of you, that's say something that they say is right. It's a flaw in your character. Change it. And if you like that flaw, then you tell them to go fuck themselves. Because that's how I am. I'm a forceful person. I'm a forceful individual. This is how I talk. I'm a forceful individual. I know who I am. You can't tell me who I am. So, and I don't do things to hurt people purposefully. So, what can you tell me? Even if I do something wrong, okay, I did something wrong. I apologize. But then you got nowhere to go. I know how to speak, so I know how to argue my points. So most of the times I win my arguments. That's why I say I voluntarily wish you astronomers, astrophysicists, come to the Matrix Doctrine, and anytime I would love to have a debate with an astrophysicist. Love to, because I would show you the astrophysicists, they don't know shit. Most of the shit that they tell y'all is bullshit. 99% of the shit that they tell y'all is bullshit. All made up shit that they pull out their ass. And I'll talk to y'all about that with the Matrix Doctrine. We're going back to the Matrix Doctrine on Monday. And we're gonna we're gonna talk about religion and how that's fake. And we're gonna go back to some astrophysicist stuff, some astronomical astrology. No, not astrology, astronomy. We're gonna go to, because I love astronomy. I grew up loving Nova and all of that stuff, but I came, as I got older, I came to realize that a lot of the shit that they were saying was bullshit. It doesn't mean that I'm still not astounded by space and all of that stuff. And I love the shit that they say, but it's all bullshit. Trust me. I would love to talk to that Tyson dude. I'd love to talk to that Asian dude with the white hair. And I'd tell you, within 5 minutes, I'd have them all saying that they don't know. And they tell you that. They tell you we don't really know, but what we know. And that's how I know they're full of shit. You can't say we don't know and then turn around and say what we know, because all your shit is based on what you know on Earth. So that's the last topic I have for tonight. It's basically running my mouth for the last until 9 o'clock, because that's where I want to get off. But no, I do want to talk a little bit about my comic book Mike, and because Mike is going to be coming to this is what we're here for, to sell comic books. I'm trying to build my channel so I can sell comic books. This is topics that I hear and I see in the world that interest me. And I want to put some more movie reviews, because I love movies, and TV show reviews because I love TV. But this is an easy way for me to get out some topics and make videos, because all I have to do is clip this stuff. And I learned that from Young Ripper. Clip it and put it out there. That way it saves me a lot of time than having to go and making videos individually and then live streaming. So I help to build my channel a little quicker. So if y'all like what I'm doing here, please subscribe. I was getting up until I kind of fell off, because this is kind of difficult trying to draw and write stories and come up with ideas, and then having to come up with ideas I come up with ideas all the time, but it's how to then search the internet for backup stuff, just like I did, with the police stuff and then the Amazon stuff and all of that stuff. All of this is to help bolster what I'm saying, and all of that takes time. And then I got to make thumbnails, which takes time. And so this takes away from my drawing and learning stuff to draw and get better, so that I could, because I stopped drawing for a long time. I had stopped reading comic books for years, and I'm finding now that I'm trying to get back into it. It's not that I've forgotten how to draw. I've forgotten my shortcuts to drawing, and I've forgotten is that library of visual knowledge from looking at comic books every day, all the time. All of that visual library of interesting muscular poses and interesting fight scenes, and all of these things are now not in my head. So now I have to go back through all of these comic books to re-establish my visual library. So that's why if you see me drawing, I struggle. It takes me a long time, or I'm not completing, because I don't have that same visual library. So it's harder for me to get to that from the beginning stage to the end. And then I'm also learning inking and coloring. I never really learned color theory until, recent years. So be patient with me. I had a Indiegogo page, a sign up page, but I didn't have the art prepared, because I didn't realize what I needed for the campaign. I didn't realize how much more story I was going to need. I didn't realize how much more character designs I was going to need just to get because I want to show the fight scene in order to show my three characters, my cameo characters, my Nebula character, Everman, and Cameo. That's a female. She's a female from, and that's her name, Cameo. They're cameo characters because they're not going to be permanent fixtures. They're just going to make an appearance in the first book. In the first book, and then they're going to leave, go back to their own cities. And my book is going to have a 3-city. It's going to be 3 cities: Portsburg, Cliffside. Is it Cliffside? Cliff Falls, something like that. Cliff Falls and another, and Legend City. So I've got if there's another comic book character who lives in Legend City, then I'm gonna have to change it because I don't want my characters being in the same city that anybody else does. But so I got several others that I can switch off, but I also was gonna use those for other characters down the line, like Cameo, because I'm gonna have to create another city for her, and Everman, I'm gonna have to have another city for him. So I might put them in one of them in either Cliff Falls or but then I also got 12 characters in the Mike book that are regulars, so I can also have some of them in other cities that come to Portsburg, because it's like the main hub for transporting goods, because they have the ports, and Cliff Falls and Legend City are more inland, and they have to ship their stuff to Portsburg in order to get to the ports, because it's a coastal city. So I'm telling you, this is going to be a complete massive universe. I've got so many things set up. This is not just one superhero with one superhero story, and it's going to be some meager little story about 2 dudes fighting. No, this is an elaborate storyline with a character who was created in the 60s to fight this substance. And in modern time, this substance has been stolen from a secret laboratory, and now my superheroes who had been there for the first fight, there's only like 4 or 5 superheroes who survived from the 60s. They're all older, but they're old, 90 years old. They're about 90 years old, but they all got prolonged life from the experiment that made them who they are. So they look about, instead of 30s, they look about 40. So they are aging, but it's a lot slower. But they're 90 years old, and there's only about 4 or 5 of them, and they know that the substance has been stolen. So now they're all going, yo, what's going on? And at the same time, there's there's at least 2 Illuminati type groups that are waging war in the background for dominance over the entire world. So I'm going to speak more about that as when the campaign drops, and that's why I got all of these stories to tell you, because I want you guys to jump on board. And I know that I haven't built up my platform, but hopefully, if Dan Frager lets me on his channel and I can get on to John Malin's Comic Gate Presents and all of that, he was on tonight when I was getting ready to start. I wish I could have stayed on and watched it, but I'll watch it in the replay. But when I get on to him, there's going to be reveals on each show. I got so many characters with so many different, like Wreck. He was once a slave, so I could tell a little bit about that. And depending on who show, I could tell a little bit on Shay, Red Valkyrie show. I could tell a little bit on How to Draw Comics on that channel. I could go on Adam Post. If I can get on all of these channels, I'm going to have a little bit of a reveal for everybody so that nobody can feel left out. And I can go on all of these different places and I'll have a reveal for at least one character for because I got 12 characters, so I'll have a reveal. And then for the bad guys and for John Malin, for not the bad guys, but for if I can get on, if he blesses me and I could get on Ethan, then I would have a big reveal for him. But for now, if I can get on Dan Frager, I'm going to have several reveals because he was the one that first let me on his show, and I have to give him thanks for that. He didn't have to do that at all. He let me on several times, and I appreciate it. And so, thanks a lot, Dan Frager. I appreciate you letting me on. People know me because of that, and I would show several different reveals. I would show the cover of I would show the 24-hour cover or the 48-hour cover on his. He would get to see that first on his live stream, and a few other characters, maybe some stuff about Mike, maybe something about some other characters, because there's other characters that I haven't talked about. Some of my magic dudes. There's going to be magic characters. There's going to be magic characters responsible for Warhammer and Nightshade's origins. So there's another magic dude in there. So I'll reveal him. See, so there's a lot of stuff that I'm planning, and that's what I didn't know when I was planning the first. So I had to stop and started writing all kinds of stories about all of these characters, and in the process developing way more stuff than I intended to, just to get started. So but it's good because now I don't have to develop this stuff and I can just draw, and I already know where my universe is going. I know how I'm gonna get my character out into the universe on other planets. I already know the scenario that's going to get him out there, and probably have him interacting with my Nebula character. See, so all of them is going to be like feeding into one another, and then there's going to be characters like, here, let me show you. little rowing because we do have CG tracker. I should have did a little bit in the beginning. Should have did a little CG tracker in the beginning, but we can still do CG tracker. We can do 2 quick campaigns. Let's see. I know we was in the yellows. No, we was up here in the 20s. But I seen that I missed my boy Vinny Art with Kraken. I knew that he's got a good campaign up. Shadow of the Kraken, 16,000. He should have made it to 20,000. I don't know what's holding him back. He's got good art. Maybe they don't want the painted stuff. Maybe because it's a niche type of product. That's why I didn't want to come up with a niche product at for my first stories. I'd rather do a superhero story that was super because you guaranteed a certain level of action. And with all of the characters I got, the street level gangs, there are high level gangs, and then there's these secret organizations that don't know that they're working for the Illuminati type. There's so many people in my story that don't know that they're working for the Illuminati type dudes, but it trickles down because you got to get through one boss to another boss to another boss to another boss to get to the level of to even get to know the lower level Illuminati dudes. So there's layers to this, and it's gonna take a while. That's why I say it's gonna be years before I get to the space stuff. No, not all of them, but the major events, the major stuff that I know that the galaxy is in danger. I have a story right now that puts my galaxy in jeopardy. And then I have a story right now that puts my universe in jeopardy. So that's what I'm telling you. I know where my stories are going to go. I know there's going to be certain major events that's coming your way. I know you're going to want to know about these events. And that's before we, and you're not even going to hear about some of these until we solve the Illuminati crisis. So there's going to be many events building to the Illuminati thing. That's why I could tell y'all so much about it. I could spill my guts about it. You say, why would you tell us about a secret organization? Because there's going to be more that happens way after this. There's going to be so much more. I can tell y'all this and let y'all know there's going to be these guys with all of these super abilities that Mike is going to have to get through. And then there's going to be organizations under them that he's going to have to get his way through in order to get to them, anywhere near them, even before he even realizes there are Illuminati groups. You see what I'm saying? He's going to think that he cut off the head of the snake, and nope, you only clipped his tail. That's the type of stories I want to tell. I'm going to be telling you all kinds of stories from all kinds of levels. So yeah, check out Shadow of the Kraken. We already know that he's a great artist. I don't know what type of storyteller he is because I haven't bought any of his books, but I wish I could have, because I just don't have the money for it right now, people. If I get this campaign up and y'all buy it, we will be supporting Comicsgate books, because I haven't bought books in 20 years. So since the early 2000s, I haven't bought books, man. 15 years easy. So yeah, back Shadow of the Kraken is still in demand, and we know Vinny Tartamella, he does his thing. So let's see what else we got down here. Let's go back to, if you want to check out all of the books that's available, go to CG Tracker. It's a website. I got it in my thing regularly, and go to and check out all of the campaigns. I can't wait till mine's is there. Let's check out Lumina. I seen them on there. Yeah, let's fuck it. No. Did we check out Thomas Moria? Yeah, let's check out Thomas Moria. Thomas Moya, we already know that this guy, see, he should be at 20,000 by now too. This guy's got some good art. He's been putting up a lot of stuff on uh he's been putting up a lot of stuff on Twitter. So go check out his stuff. And if you like his artwork, I suggest that you back it. If you like the story, you like the look at this. This is extremely good artwork. See, I have to get to putting in my details for my inking. When I get to this level of putting in details and all of that, which shouldn't be too hard, it's just having the confidence. It's building the confidence because when you draw, there's a certain point that you start destroying what you create in order to create something better. And that's what I have to get past, the destruction part. It is, in a way, because when you start inking it, well, not digitally, when you start inking it, anything can happen. So there's a point to where if you're not consistent with your shadows and your lighting and all of that, you can destroy it. So this is fear. You need to build confidence, and that's my stage of my level of proficiency is I'm afraid. I'm afraid to destroy my work. I'm afraid to come off as not knowledgeable, amateuristic. I know I could draw. It might come off a little cocky, but I'm the only one who knows that I can draw. I haven't had a lot of people who told me that I can draw, that I can believe in what they say is true. Somebody who's a good artist who says, "Wow, you're a good artist," like Dan Frager, and when Dan Frager said I'm a good artist, when David Finch saw my work and he said, "Wow," that type of stuff, yeah, that lets me know that I'm a good artist, because it's just people that I can say I respect their work, that respect something that I've done. Yeah, then I can say. But if the average Joe says, yeah, they like my work, then okay, it's something that, of course, I want the average person to love my work. But for me to understand how good my work is, a lay person really can't give me the satisfaction in that way. As it's not that they can't give me that satisfaction, it's just that it's different for someone who's a peer, I guess you could say. Even though I'm not on a David Finch's level, no way I'm on any of these guys' level. Trust me. Can I sit in the same room with these guys? Yeah, maybe at the back. But I believe I can sit in the same room. And that's the thing. So back Thomas Moria, and if you like it, if you think that this is what you want, back it. If this is the thing that you like, because some people are not into, like I said, I think these are what you call a niche property. It's not a superhero. It doesn't look like a superhero book. It is on a level, but he's fighting demons or something like that. See, I got demon stories. I got a lot of demons, a few demon stories. I got a revelation story. But I don't want to tell that because I feel that it's a niche. I'm going to have demons and all of that magical stuff and mystical, anything I could think of. All of that's going to be in Might. But for just telling specific, say like if I was going to tell Dracula or werewolf story, I wouldn't tell it for my first book. I would save it until y'all know and trust me and have me. Then I'll come out with it afterwards, after y'all get to see my comic book stuff, my superhero stuff. So yeah, people, that's it. It's after 9 o'clock. I'm missing some Dan Frager. I'm gonna see who he picks. So let me get up on out of here. Let me get up on out here, and let me stop sharing. Get up on out of here. Thanks for coming through. Please like and subscribe so I can build my channel so I can get more people interested in my artwork. and interested in Might, the Might and the Might universe, because it's going to be many characters coming to y'all in the first book, and there's going to be many books coming to you in the second. So the second campaign, you're going to get at least 4 comic books, Might, Cameo, Everman, and my Nebula character, with supplementary books for each. So that's the second campaign. So if y'all like what I'm doing, subscribe, because you're not going to want to miss out on the beginnings. You're going to want to be there for that. Nothing's going to depend on the other. All stories will be solely dependent on their own. Like, you're not going to have to worry about the Nebula character having to need to get his book in order to tell a Mike story. That's not how I get down. I'm not going to force you to buy anything you don't want to, but I will have a box, one of those all-in-one boxes like Ethan threw down. Probably call it treasure chest or something like that. And it'll come with all of them, but you'll be able to buy them individually so that you can get the ones that you want if you like those characters, or you could just get Might. So, yes. I'm out of here, people. Thanks for coming through. Until the next time, we're going to be doing this more frequently and build up our channel, get some videos out, and peace. I'm out of here. Later, y'all.